Mustard Knuckle.
Hello everybody, Mustard Knuckle back again, heading out in the Tiger 1 H1 German tank. We'll go over the gameplay, more history about the Tiger, because there's so much. We will talk about the fording, the water, the driving underwater system. We'll talk about the competition to get this thing built. Some more of the shortcomings of it, and then also kind of what remains. So we'll talk about that. Any tips that come up along the way, we'll discuss that as well. So let's see. So we got it. Looks like a little late here. Some of these points are already captured, but we'll keep it rolling here. So the Tiger 1, as we've discussed, started early. It started back in the 40s, and a lot of the parts used on it were intended for other heavy tanks, which were going to be in the 60 to 70,000 pound range. This one ended up being closer to 100,000 pounds. So a lot of the parts and pieces that were already available, they went ahead and started using those to try to get this thing rolling. One of the design criteria for the Tiger was it had to be able to drive underwater. 4.5 meters of water, so that's close to 15 feet deep. They had to do this because the bridges couldn't hold this thing. So they said, well, what are we going to do? And they said, well, we'll seal it up and it'll drive underwater. And they said, impossible. And then they said, the other guys said, no, we can do it. I'm sure it's exactly how the conversation went. Oh, cool. Needed that. So the deal was, they saw, in the early 40s, they saw the KV-1, they saw the T-34, and they realized, like, whoa, we're in trouble here. We got to come up with something bigger. What do we got? And they said, well, let's see, and they started building it. So there was a competition between Porsche and, well, it wasn't between Porsche, but Porsche entered a design in the competition, and then Henschel, which I think they made airplanes too, I'm not sure, but they ended up making this thing. They won the competition, and it was actually Ferdinand Porsche, I think I read, that gave it the name Tiger. That wasn't the military, that wasn't anything, that was Porsche. Porsche, whatever you want to call it. I like Porsche. I know it's probably wrong to most of you, but Porsche is easier. Porsche, the emphasis on the end takes too much time. I don't have that kind of time. So, let's see. So they started building this thing. Had to be able to go underwater. 15 feet of water, which is crazy. I know I've discussed it a little bit before, but it's insane. So let's say you get stuck down there, right? Let's say part of this water fording system doesn't work. Well, what do you do then? Do you just sit in the tank until you die? Is there a way to let water into the tank so you can equalize it and open the hatch and try to swim up? How does it work? I'm assuming that you're just dead, which was part of being a tanker, being a soldier, being any part of World War II, World War I, any of the wars, being any part of the military. These guys are willing to do things. Well, maybe if they're even not willing to do them, but they'll do them anyway because either it's what they signed up for or it's their principle, which is pretty incredible. That was easy. Good gun, 88 millimeters on this thing. The fording system for the water did keep going, and they used it, and it's on these things. Interesting note, the only surviving and running Tiger 1 is in Great Britain, or England. They captured it during the war, restored it, well, they used it during the war to figure out what in the world are we going to do about this Tiger. Oh man, it's just happening here. It is happening. So they restored it after they were done with it, and they kept it. It's the only one in the world, and it's in England. Now you'll notice when we look outside here, see how that front plate's angled? If you angle it just slightly and don't expose that right front corner, you're basically almost impenetrable. That front plate certainly isn't going to get penned by anything because it's going to be 200 millimeters thick from that angle. So think about how you're angling that front plate. Too late. I shouldn't have taken that shot. Should have waited for him to get to the other side of that rock. So, as we know also, the complexity of this thing, you see how those road wheels are all interwoven on top of each other. That became a big problem with mud and ice, getting jammed in there and slowing this thing down. Here we go. Nice. Thank you for pulling out right in front of me. So, the idea was, though, that having so many road wheels would increase reliability, which I'm sure it did to a certain extent. There's some guys down here. I want to see if I can get to them before they know anything's happening. There we go. Easy. Thought that'd be easy. I don't know what's going on with this guy. Look at this. I'm gonna shoot him right in the front. How does that happen? Let's see if I can finish this guy for him. He's not okay, side of the turret. This is it. Jeez. Point blank from a Tiger right in that little front plate thing. And it ricochets. I don't understand that. Oh well. It did, and it did. So, let's see. They made them interwoven like that for reliability, because then you could damage one or two. Oh, this guy didn't even see me. There you go, right through the front plate of a Tiger. I almost always miss that, especially if I take too much time. But that's the spot, head on. If you can angle it slightly, like I was talking about earlier, almost nothing can get through there. You see on the sides of this thing, they mandated for 100 millimeters in the front. They wanted 60 millimeters protection on the sides, which really still doesn't do much. You might as well have 30 millimeters and be lighter, because 60 is not going to stop anything. Oh, nobody over there. So, as the Tiger went on, initially, the way they built it, they needed to get a heavy tank out there that could handle the KV-1. So it was kind of about more of how to destroy a KV-1 than it was to create a... Wow, that's a long trail of fire. How to create a heavy tank that could be virtually indestructible. But, because of the rules that were set up for this thing, for development, what they wanted out of it, they wound up with a tank that was an incredible piece of technology slash engineering slash over-engineering. But it worked. And it was more than just a stopgap before they could design, you know, what was intended to be the real heavy tank. I don't know if that'd be the Tiger II or what that would be, but this thing, they ended up building over 1,300 of them, and it served from 43 or so, 42, 43, through the end of the war, and it was very, very effective. That's the game. Holy cow. Oh, 7 kills, 2 assists. So that's that. And more history on the Tiger. There's always more history on the Tiger. It's unbelievable. I think I could probably talk a little bit more about suspension, engine, stuff like that. But, I mean, we've covered a significant part of it in our Tiger videos here. So, and probably covered even some of it twice, but in different levels of detail. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing and appreciate it. Good luck, have fun, see you in the next one.